Relations, Jason Zillow.
Thank you, Michael. Happy New Year, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Yankee Stadium. We'd also like to extend a New Year's greeting to our viewers on the YES Network, MLB TV, and ESPN. It was just a few short weeks ago that we stood here and introduced the two newest members of the Yankees starting rotation, A.J. Burnett and C.C. Sabathia. Today, with only 38 days remaining before pitchers and catchers report to George M. Steinbrenner Field, we welcome Mark Teixeira to New York and to the Yankees family. If you follow the Yankees, whether you're a member of the media covering the team, a member of our passionate fan base, or a member of this organization, the last few months have demonstrated that a Yankees baseball season is a 12-month-a-year love of labor. These are exciting times for Yankees fans everywhere, and as 2009 begins, it's important to note an additional upcoming date. 100 days from today, on April 16th versus the Cleveland Indians, the Yankees will host the first ever regular season game to be played at the new Yankee Stadium. Again, these are exciting times. At this time, I would like to introduce the members of our dais, beginning to my far left, your right, Assistant General Manager and Vice President of the Yankees, Gene Afterman, Senior Vice President Felix Lopez, Yankees Chief Operating Officer Lon Trost, the man who may have had the busiest offseason of all of us, Yankees Senior Vice President and General Manager Brian Cashman, and of course Randy Levine, Yankees Team President. To my immediate right, your left, Yankees co-chairperson Hal Steinbrenner, the Yankees manager Joe Girardi, and our guests of honor, Mark Teixeira and his wonderful wife Lee, and their representative Scott Boras. Now, this isn't just a special day for Mark. I know that some of his family traveled here today to be with him, and I think it's important to mention them. His mother and father, John and Margie, to my right. Thank you for coming. And Mark's sister and brother-in-law, Nick and Elizabeth Durastanti. Before we begin, I also noticed two people that certainly need to be pointed out. The play-by-play radio voices of the New York Yankees, John Sterling and Susan Waldman. Happy New Year to all, and at this time I would like to introduce Randy Levine.
Good afternoon, everybody. Before we start today, which is a great day for the Yankees, we just wanted to take a moment to remember a great statesman of Major League Baseball who passed last night, a friend to everybody in the game, the owner of the Minnesota Twins, Carl Pohlad. And also in recent weeks, we lost another good colleague, Ted Rogers. So on behalf of the Yankees, to both families, we just want to express our deepest condolences and let all the families know that we're thinking of you and our prayers are with you. So it's a sad day, but we'll always have you in our hearts and always remember you. With that, it's my honor to introduce General Partner of the New York Yankees, Hal Steinbrenner.
This is a very exciting day for the New York Yankees, for this organization. You know, we went into this offseason knowing that we had numerous areas we needed to improve upon. We went into the free agency market. We had a substantial amount of money come off the payroll, and we went into the market looking to make those improvements. A few weeks ago, as all of you know, we signed two of the best pitchers in the game, and today we stand here welcoming one of the best position players in the game, Mark Teixeira. My family believes that we have a commitment every single year to our fans to field a championship caliber team. It's a commitment to both invest and reinvest in the present and in the future. This philosophy has not changed, and this philosophy will not change. Just as we have invested in the community here in the Bronx, by funding the construction of a $1 billion stadium. So we will continue into the future funding championship caliber teams and investing in the teams and in this product that we put on the field. The fans deserve nothing less. I would like to bring up Mr. Cashman now to introduce our newest member of the roster.
Thank you, Hal. First, I'd like... It's a blast. Got little bugs in the old Yankee Stadium still, right? Well, anyway, I do promise Mark will be delivering a lot of bangs along the way and blasts along the way like that one. So we're excited. First and foremost, everybody knows that our biggest need in the area to address has been the pitching, and we have talked about our need to improve our pitching and our defense. We did do, to use a sailing term, we might have tacked a little bit off of the game plan all winter long. We talked about the pitching, and we obviously did every attempt to address that area. But at the same time, I was in ownership's ear, Hal Steinbrenner, Hank Steinbrenner, and the family, along with our team president, Randy Levine and Lon Trost, constantly mentioning Mark Teixeira. Mark Teixeira as somewhat of an interest to us, and for a big reason. I mean, Mark, as we all know, is a power hitting switch hitter, above average defense, hits for average, plate discipline, and he obviously is the type of player that I think every organization, but more importantly our organization, would gravitate to. So we talked through the process. We met with Mark down in D.C. and then it's led to the opportunity to introduce him today as a New York Yankee, and we're very excited by that. Before I introduce Mark, I would like to, personally welcome his wife, Lee, with, if you can come up here, please, I'd like to give you some roses and welcome you to the Yankee family. And with that, I would love to bring Mark up. Oh, I'm sorry, my first man, I apologize, Mr. Joe Girardi. I didn't get the script. Sometimes I have to tack, too.
Well, it's a real thrill and honor for us to be back here. Jason had talked about that the old Yankee Stadium doesn't want to die. Well, we have another special day here, and it's Mark Teixeira and his family and his wonderful wife, Lee. And I can't tell you how thrilled I am going to be able to write your name down on our lineup. And, when you talk about adding players, we talked all winter long about adding character as well, and I think that's exactly what we've done here. We've added a great player that has a lot of character, and I think he'll be a big part of the success that we have, and he'll be not only big on the field, he'll be big in the clubhouse. And I'm looking forward to working with you every day and having your children around us. He has 2 young children. We're excited about that, too, so welcome. Cash. Come on up, Mark. Yeah. Mark has always wore 23 because his favorite player was John Madden, but that number's been retired. It's a new uniform, and still looks like it fits very well.
Looks like he's going to have 25, which ironically enough, Bob, was Joe Girardi's former number. And now Joe wears number 27 in pursuit of the 27th World Championship for the Yankees. But as you mentioned, Teixeira was a huge Mattingly fan, but the number 23 is not going to be worn here anytime.
In the trades to both the Braves and the Angels the past couple of years, 23 wasn't available either. He had to bounce to 24, then 25. So now staying with 25, the closest option, I guess, to Donnie baseball.
Well, he might not be wearing his number, Bob, but he's going to be playing his position, and this will be the best defensive first baseman the Yankees have had since Tino Martinez, who obviously was just a smidge less than Don Mattingly. Mattingly won all those Gold Gloves, but 2 of them, and a lot of people look at him as a great addition to the lineup. But boy, when you look at what he can do for the defense, it really is amazing. He's an outstanding first baseman. He's won 2 Gold Gloves, and I think he's going to flash some of that leather at the new Yankee Stadium.
And Joe Girardi mentioned how excited he is to pencil him into the lineup. When you talk about the offensive potential of a new Yankee Stadium with the same porch, and he's a switch hitter, he can take advantage of that in right field.
And, we'll talk to Joe a little bit later on, but the one thing that I'm really wondering about is he's going to bat him before A-Rod or after A-Rod. That seems seems to be the big question. Do you want him as protection, or do you want him to be on base when A-Rod comes up? And those are the questions we'll ask both Mark and Joe Girardi when we get to the chance to speak to them.
And when Joe is able to move around some of those parts, it's a nice option to know that if he is your steady three-hitter, you can always knock him back to the 5, or even at times maybe in the cleanup spot, and he'll be just equally as effective.
And the thing that really makes him more of a force is the fact that he's a switch hitter. Now, Joe has a lot of switch hitters at his disposal. If he plays Cabrera in center field, there's a switch hitter. Posada's healthy, there's a switch hitter. Teixeira's a switch hitter as well. And you could really mix and match lefty, righty, right throughout the lineup. And with switch hitters, it makes it more difficult for a manager to match up late in the games with left-handers and right-handers out of the bullpen.
On a personal note, you see Mark with his wife up there, Lee. He met her at his freshman year at Georgia Tech, and it's ironic, we'll talk to him about this. There was a chance he might not even go to Georgia Tech in '98, that he might sign with the Red Sox. That didn't happen. He ended up going to Georgia Tech, forging an incredible collegiate career, met his wife there, and of course the rest is history. He went to the Rangers and established the career that he has now.
And you also mentioned the Red Sox. The Red Sox were in play on Mark Teixeira, really wanted him. That was the #1 target during the offseason. So this is one of those signings for the Yankees that's doubly good, because not only do they help themselves, but they make sure that Mark Teixeira does not become protection for David Ortiz in that lineup. So that was a big part of this as well. I don't think they signed him for that specific reason, but it certainly is a nice sidebar to it.
Okay, so the podium's coming back out, and we will hear from Mark Teixeira in just a moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark Teixeira. Well, first of all, I want to thank you all for coming out, and thank the entire Yankees organization, the Steinbrenner family, Brian Cashman, Joe Girardi, the entire Yankees organization, and my family appreciate their support of me and what I'm trying to accomplish in my career, and my goals are the same goals as the Yankees, and that's to win a World Series. I've been very blessed in my career, been very lucky to play with some great players, and now I'm getting to play with the greatest organization in sports history, with some of the greatest players in sports history. So this is a great day for me. And I know my family being able to come up from Baltimore, and my sister right across the way in Hoboken, this is very special for us. So just fire away. Take a few questions. Please raise your hands. We have a wireless mic. Julio? Hold on, wait for the wireless mic.
Teixeira, welcome to the Bronx. Bienvenido al Bronx. How did you feel? I mean, there was a lot of comments in terms of where you might be going, and then you finally got a call from someone telling you you're coming to the Bronx. How was that first feeling? It was a lot of relief. I'd be lying if I say this wasn't a stressful position. Scott warned me, my agent warned me a few years ago that if free agency does come, be prepared for it. And it's fun sometimes, but a lot of times it's not. So it was a relief, number one. And then once it really hit me that I was going to be a Yankee, it was just pure joy, and the excitement of being a Yankee. And calling my family was very important to me, because this is the closest I've ever been to them, being in Atlanta and L.A. and my first few years in Texas. So it's easy for them to come see me play now. So a little bit of relief, but a lot of excitement.
Your center, Bruce Beck.
Mark, with the big money contract comes a lot of responsibility. How do you view your role with this team, and how do you embrace this responsibility?
Well, I've always said, ever since I was a rookie, that no one's going to expect more out of me than I expect out of myself. I've been given an incredible gift, and I believe that I have yet to tap my potential, and I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to find ways to get better. So I know there's a lot of responsibility, but my character says, hey, I'm trying to get better. I haven't accomplished anything yet. I don't have a World Series ring on my finger. So I think that it's going to be a give and take. I know that you guys are going to expect a lot out of me. The fans of New York expect a lot out of me. But at the same time, I expect more out of myself. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Mark, it was mentioned before you put on your jersey that number 23 wasn't available because Don Mattingly was your favorite player growing up. How much of that, him being your favorite player, how much did that play into your choosing the New York Yankees to be the team that you're going to spend the next 8-10 years with?
Yeah, I think it says a lot about the Yankees organization that a kid that grew up in Baltimore, had season tickets to Baltimore Orioles games, and would cheer for every other
player in the world except for Don Mattingly. Don Mattingly was my guy, and people say, why not Cal and why not Eddie? And I said, no, I love Cal, I love Eddie, but there's something about Don Mattingly. And I would go to Orioles games. My dad would take me to O's games, and I would wear a Yankees hat. And back in the 80s and early 90s, that wasn't a safe thing to do in Baltimore. So, but it was worth it, and that's just a part of being a Yankee, is that there's something above everything else. No matter where you are, no matter what stadium you're in, there's Yankees fans everywhere, and being a Yankee, there's nothing better.
Process, while all the other teams were being mentioned, the Nationals, the Red Sox, other teams, did you have it in the back of your mind that if the Yankees wanted to get in at the end, they probably weren't going to be outbid, and that they would be there in the end?
Yeah, this process was so confusing sometimes, and sometimes I told Scott, hey, stop calling me. And then I'd call him 5 times a day. What's going on? What's going on? And my wife and I decided probably 2 weeks before Christmas, hey, the Yankees are where we want to be. And I told Cash, I said, you might want to give Lee a hug, because when it was all said and done, she finally told me, because I was been asking her for weeks and weeks, so where do you want to go? Where do you want me to play? And she said, I just want you to be happy. I just want you to be happy. Finally, she said, I want you to be a Yankee. So that's when it was done, and once we got the contract figured out, it was a no-brainer for me.
One or two more in the back here, Lauren. Bill. He's coming. Hold on one sec, Bill. Sorry. Oh. You know what, Bill? Go ahead. We might take some.
What's the anticipation level just of playing in Yankee Stadium and just being a Yankee?
I can't wait. I always love playing here as an opposing player. I tell people that there are 2 favorite stadiums of mine. The newer stadiums in the league, I love Seattle. There's something about the city and the crowds. It's a good place to play. But the old stadiums, Yankee Stadium was by far my favorite. I loved playing there. I loved playing against the Yankees. And now going into the new stadium, I feel very blessed to be a part of the first season of the new Yankee Stadium. And I was sad to see this place go, and I think everyone is going to miss Yankee Stadium, but the new Yankee Stadium is going to create some memories that we'll all remember for a long time.
Take 2 more. Kat, to your left.
Hi, Mark. Welcome to New York. At what point did you kind of zero in on New York as the place you might like to play, and did you feel like they were going to be there?
Well, I was very impressed with Cash when he came out to Washington. We met with a bunch of teams, and it took Scott and I probably a month just to narrow it down to 5 teams that we would want to negotiate with. And Cash made me a nice little video of Yankee Stadium, and he put his college recruiting pitch in there, and I was impressed. But at the end of that week, I started talking with Scott and started talking to Lee, and said, you know what, if I can be a Yankee, there's nothing better. And it took a while after that for us to finish things, but in the back of my mind, Yankees were always at the top. And like I said, once Lee said, I want you to be a Yankee, it was a done deal.
Take the last one from Jeremy.
Mark, what impact, if any, did the signings of CC Sabathia and A.J. Burnett have on your decision?
It was huge. I've always wanted to be with an organization that, doesn't shy away from the big money players, the free agents, and doing whatever it takes to win. And the Yankees are on the top of that list. And you saw with AJ and CeCe this year, those are 2 guys that I hated facing as a hitter. So I know that for 162 games, we're going to put a team out there that most lineups are going to hate facing our pitching, and then most pitchers are going to hate facing our lineup. So when you look at our team, we have everything we need to go out there and compete, and we're in a tough division. There's no doubt. The Red Sox are always a great team. The Devil Rays had an incredible season this year, or the Rays, I'm sorry. But it's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, thank you, Mark. That will conclude the formal portion of today's press conference. I will not make the same mistake twice and say that this is definitely the final press conference at Yankee Stadium. But from all of us up here to all of you out there, a healthy, happy, and prosperous 2009. Thank you.